Today we are discussing the CCNA-based interview questions and answers for Cisco Identity Services Engine ISE. You can download the complete list of CCNA-based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Identity Services Engine is: explain the role of Cisco ISE in integrating with security information and event management SIEM systems. Your answer should be: Cisco ISE can integrate with SIEM systems to send log and event data for analysis. This integration enhances security monitoring, threat detection, and incident response capabilities across the network. Our next interview question is: what are the advantages of using Cisco ISE for dynamic access control in a bring your own device BYOD environment? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE supports BYOD by profiling and dynamically applying access policies based on the device's characteristics. This ensures secure network access for personal devices while maintaining control over security requirements. Our next interview question is: explain the role of Cisco ISE in providing context aware access control and the benefits it offers. Your answer should be: Cisco ISE leverages context information such as user identity, device type, and location to make access decisions. Context-aware access control enhances security by tailoring policies based on real-time information about users and devices. Our next interview question is: how does Cisco ISE contribute to network visibility and what monitoring tools does it offer? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE provides visibility into user and device activities through its monitoring and troubleshooting node MNT. It offers tools for real-time monitoring, historical reporting, and troubleshooting network access issues. Our next interview question is: explain the concept of Cisco ISE profiling policies and how they contribute to dynamic policy enforcement. Your answer should be: profiling policies in Cisco ISE define the criteria for identifying and classifying endpoints based on their attributes. These policies enable ISE to dynamically apply access policies according to the specific profile of each device. Our next interview question is: how does Cisco ISE handle scenarios where devices move across different network segments or locations? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE uses security group tags SGT to dynamically assign devices to different network segments based on their identity. This allows for consistent and context-aware policy enforcement as devices move within the network. If you are preparing for any Cisco-based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below. Today we are discussing the CCNA-based interview questions and answers for Cisco Identity Services Engine ISE. You can download the complete list of CCNA-based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Identity Services Engine is: how does Cisco ISE contribute to threat containment and incident response in a network? Your answer should be Cisco ISE with its visibility into user and device activities can contribute to early threat detection. It can dynamically change access policies, isolate compromised devices, and facilitate incident response actions to contain security threats. Our next interview question is: what are the considerations for ensuring a resilient and highly available Cisco ISE deployment? Your answer should be high availability in Cisco ISE involves redundant deployments, load balancing, and failover configurations. Considerations include hardware redundancy, database replication, and proper network design to ensure resilience. Our next interview question is: explain the role of Cisco ISE Profiler Feed service in keeping device profiles up to date. Your answer should be Profiler Feed service regularly updates the profiling database in Cisco ISE with information about new devices and their characteristics. This ensures accurate device profiling for making informed access control decisions. Our next interview question is: how does Cisco ISE handle authentication and authorization for multi-factor authentication MFA? Your answer should be Cisco ISE can integrate with MFA solutions such as Radius Token Servers or RSA Secure ID for multi-factor authentication. It adds an additional layer of security by requiring multiple forms of verification before granting access. Our next interview question is: explain the concept of Cisco ISE policy sets and how they are organized in the policy hierarchy. Your answer should be policy sets in Cisco ISE are collections of authentication and authorization policies. They are organized in a hierarchical structure where rules within a policy set are processed in order. This hierarchy allows for flexible and granular policy enforcement. Our next interview question is: how does Cisco ISE support integration with threat intelligence platforms (TIPs) for enhanced security? Your answer should be Cisco ISE can integrate with threat intelligence platforms to enrich its contextual information with real-time threat intelligence data. This integration enhances the ability to make dynamic access decisions based on the latest threat information. Our next interview question is: what is the purpose of Cisco ISE's device administration feature and how does it contribute to network security? Your answer should be device administration in Cisco ISE enables the enforcement of policies for network devices such as routers and switches. It ensures that only authorized administrators can access and configure critical network infrastructure, enhancing security. If you are preparing for any Cisco based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid, tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below. Today we are discussing the CCNA based interview questions and answers for Cisco Identity Services Engine ISE. You can download the complete list of CCNA based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Identity Services Engine is: explain the role of Cisco ISE in device compliance checks and how it enhances security. Your answer should be: Cisco ISE can perform compliance checks on devices to ensure they meet security requirements before granting access. This includes checking for antivirus status, patch levels, and other security configurations to enforce compliance. Our next interview question is: how does Cisco ISE contribute to the enforcement of role based access control RBAC within a network? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE allows for the creation of roles and policies based on user identity and attributes. By integrating with network devices, ISE enforces role based access control, ensuring that users have appropriate access based on their roles. Our next interview question is: explain the process of implementing a scalable and secure deployment of Cisco ISE in a distributed network environment. Your answer should be: a scalable and secure deployment involves distributed policy service nodes, PSNs, load balancing, and considerations for redundancy. Proper network design, certificate management, and high availability configurations contribute to a robust implementation. Our next interview question is: how does Cisco ISE handle endpoint device profiling in scenarios where devices are connecting via wired and wireless networks? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE uses consistent profiling policies across wired and wireless connections. Device profiles are based on attributes such as device type, operating system, and applications, ensuring accurate identification and policy enforcement. Our next interview question is: explain the benefits of integrating Cisco ISE with Cisco Threat Grid for advanced threat intelligence. Your answer should be: integration with Cisco Threat Grid allows ISE to leverage advanced threat intelligence. This enhances the ability to detect and respond to sophisticated threats by incorporating dynamic threat feeds into access control decisions. Our next interview question is, what are the key considerations when implementing Cisco ISE in a multi-vendor network environment? Your answer should be considerations include protocol compatibility, interoperability with third-party devices, and adherence to industry standards. Cisco ISE's flexibility and support for various protocols enable integration with a diverse range of network devices. If you are preparing for any Cisco-based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid, tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below. Today we are discussing the CCNA-based interview questions and answers for Cisco Identity Services Engine ISE. You can download the complete list of CCNA-based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Identity Services Engine is: explain the concept of TrustSec in the context of Cisco ISE. Your answer should be TrustSec is Cisco's framework for enabling secure network access and segmentation. Cisco ISE in conjunction with TrustSec uses Security Group Tags (SGT) and Security Group Access Control Lists (SGACL) for dynamic and context-aware access control. Our next interview question is, what is the process of integrating Cisco ISE with Cisco TrustSec for enhanced security? Your answer should be integration involves configuring Cisco ISE and network devices to use TrustSec features such as SGT and SGACL. This allows for more granular and context-aware access control based on user and device attributes. Our next interview question is, explain the purpose of Cisco ISE threat-centric NAC network access control and how it enhances security. Your answer should be Cisco ISE threat-centric NAC integrates threat intelligence into access decisions. It uses information about known threats to dynamically adapt access policies, helping to prevent compromised devices from accessing the network. Our next interview question is, what role does Cisco ISE play in the context of software-defined access (SD) access? Your answer should be Cisco ISE is a key component of Cisco's SD access architecture. It provides identity services, policy enforcement, and secure network access control to support the dynamic and automated policies of SD access. Our next interview question is, how does Cisco ISE contribute to the overall Zero Trust network security model? Your answer should be Cisco ISE aligns with the Zero Trust model by implementing identity-based access control. It verifies and enforces policies based on the identity and attributes of users and devices, regardless of their location within the network. Our next interview question is explain the concept of Cisco ISE profiler policies and how they are used in device profiling. Your answer should be profiler policies in Cisco ISE define the conditions and actions for profiling devices. They specify the attributes to collect matching criteria and actions to take based on the device's profile, allowing for dynamic policy enforcement. Our next interview question is how can Cisco ISE contribute to compliance and auditing processes within an organization? Your answer should be Cisco ISE logs and monitors access activities, providing valuable data for compliance audits. It allows organizations to track user access, generate reports, and demonstrate adherence to regulatory requirements. If you are preparing for any Cisco based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid, tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below. Today we are discussing the CCNA based interview questions and answers for Cisco Identity Services Engine ISE. You can download the complete list of CCNA based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Identity Services Engine is: what is the difference between TSCACS Plus and Radius? And why might you choose one over the other in a Cisco ISE deployment? Your answer should be TSCACS Plus and Radius are both protocols used for AAA services, but TSCACS Plus offers more granular control and supports separate authentication, authorization, and accounting. The choice depends on specific requirements and network design considerations. Our next interview question is how does Cisco ISE handle endpoint posture assessment and what remediation actions can be taken? Your answer should be Cisco ISE checks the security posture of endpoints during posture assessment. If a device is found non-compliant, remediation actions can include instructing the device to update antivirus definitions or apply patches before gaining full network access. Our next interview question is explain the role of Cisco ISE in providing secure access to wireless networks. Your answer should be Cisco ISE can integrate with wireless controllers to enforce policies for devices connecting to wireless networks. It supports 802.1x authentication, guest access, and profiling for secure wireless connectivity. Our next interview question is how can Cisco ISE be used to enhance security in a multi-vendor network environment? Your answer should be Cisco ISE supports standards-based protocols and APIs, allowing integration with third-party devices and solutions. This flexibility enables organizations to enhance security by extending identity-based policies across a multi-vendor network? Our next interview question is, what are the considerations for upgrading or migrating Cisco ISE in a production environment? Your answer should be upgrading or migrating Cisco ISE requires careful planning. Considerations include backup procedures, system requirements, compatibility with existing infrastructure, and potential impact on network access during the upgrade process. Our next interview question is, explain the concept of Cisco ISE SXP, that is Security Group Tag Exchange Protocol, and its role in securing network access. Your answer should be, SXP is used to exchange security group tags SGT information between network devices and Cisco ISE. It enables the dynamic propagation of security policies, enhancing the overall security posture of the network. If you are preparing for any Cisco-based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid, tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below. Today we are discussing the CCNA-based interview questions and answers for Cisco Identity Services Engine ISE. You can download the complete list of CCNA-based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Identity Services Engine is, explain the role of Cisco ISE in handling device onboarding and provisioning for new devices joining the network. Your answer should be, Cisco ISE facilitates device onboarding by dynamically provisioning devices with necessary configurations and certificates. This ensures that new devices can securely connect to the network with minimal manual intervention. Our next interview question is, how does Cisco ISE handle scenarios where a device's identity changes during an active session, for example, due to user role changes or device characteristics? Your answer should be, Cisco ISE supports change of authorization COA, allowing dynamic updates to the user or device session. This capability enables ISE to adapt access policies in real time based on changes in identity or attributes. Our next interview question is, explain the process of integrating Cisco ISE with Cisco Cloud Wave Security CWS for enhanced wave security. Your answer should be, integration involves configuring Cisco ISE to communicate with Cisco Cloud Wave Security for wave filtering and threat protection. This integration allows ISE to enforce wave security policies based on user identity and contextual information. Our next interview question is, how can Cisco ISE be used to enforce policies for devices connecting to the network through wired and wireless interfaces simultaneously? Your answer should be, Cisco ISE can treat each interface as a separate session and enforce policies independently. This allows for granular control over access based on the identity and attributes associated with each interface. Our next interview question is explain the concept of Cisco ISE profiling probes and their significance in device identification. Your answer should be profiling probes in Cisco ISE are used to gather information from devices to identify their characteristics. These probes, which can be standard or custom, aid in accurate device profiling and the application of appropriate access policies. Our next interview question is explain the role of Cisco ISE in handling guest access for different types of users such as contractors and visitors. Your answer should be Cisco ISE provides a guest services feature that allows for secure and controlled guest access. Different policies can be applied to guests based on their type, ensuring a tailored and secure experience for contractors, visitors, and other user categories. Our next interview question is how can Cisco ISE be configured to support device profiling for IoT devices with unique characteristics and communication patterns? Your answer should be Cisco ISE's profiling policies can be configured to recognize specific attributes associated with IoT devices. By defining custom probes and policies, ISE can accurately identify and apply access controls based on the characteristics of IoT devices. If you are preparing for any Cisco based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid, tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below. Today we are discussing the CCNA based interview questions and answers for Cisco Identity Services Engine ISE. You can download the complete list of CCNA based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Identity Services Engine is explain the concept of Cisco ISE personas and their roles. Your answer should be Cisco ISE has three personas administration PAN, policy service PSN, and monitoring MNT. PAN manages policies, PSN enforces policies, and MNT collects and monitors data. They work together to provide comprehensive identity-based access control. Our next interview question is what is the role of Radius remote authentication dial-in user service in Cisco ISE and how does it contribute to authentication and authorization processes? Your answer should be Radius is a key protocol used for communication between network devices and Cisco ISE. It handles authentication, authorization, and accounting AAA processes, allowing for secure and standardized communication between devices and the ISE server. Our next interview question is, how does Cisco ISE handle scalability for large enterprise deployments? Your answer should be Cisco ISE supports distributed deployments with multiple policy service nodes (PSNs) to handle large-scale networks. Load balancing and high availability configurations ensure scalability and redundancy. Our next interview question is, explain the concept of profiler feed service in Cisco ISE and its importance. Your answer should be profiler feed service provides regular updates to the profiling database in Cisco ISE, ensuring that it stays current with the latest information about endpoint devices. This is crucial for accurate device profiling and enforcing access policies. Our next interview question is, what is the purpose of the Cisco ISE guest lifecycle feature and how does it enhance guest access management? Your answer should be the guest lifecycle feature in Cisco ISE provides a comprehensive solution for managing the entire lifecycle of guest users. It includes self-registration, sponsor approval, authentication, and time-limited access, enhancing the security of guest access. Our next interview question is, how does Cisco ISE handle network access for IoT, Internet of Things devices? Your answer should be Cisco ISE can use profiling and policy enforcement to secure IoT devices. Profiling helps identify the type and characteristics of IoT devices, and policies can be applied based on their profiles to ensure secure network access. If you are preparing for any Cisco-based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid, tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below. Today we are discussing the CCNA-based interview questions and answers for Cisco Identity Services Engine ISE. You can download the complete list of CCNA-based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Identity Services Engine is, explain the role of Cisco ISE in ensuring compliance with network security policies and regulatory requirements. Your answer should be Cisco ISE assists in ensuring compliance by enforcing network security policies based on user identity and device attributes. It logs and monitors access activities, providing data for audits to demonstrate adherence to regulatory requirements. Our next interview question is, how does Cisco ISE handle scenarios where a user's access requirements change based on their role or department within an organization? Your answer should be Cisco ISE supports dynamic policy changes through COA. When a user's role changes, ISE can dynamically update access policies to reflect the new requirements, ensuring that users have appropriate access based on their current roles. Our next interview question is: what are the considerations for implementing Cisco ISE in environments with a mix of wired and wireless network infrastructure? Your answer should be: considerations include consistent policy enforcement across both wired and wireless networks, device profiling for diverse endpoints, and ensuring seamless user experience during transitions between different network types. Our next interview question is: explain the role of Cisco ISE in the context of Zero Trust network security and its principles. Your answer should be: Cisco ISE aligns with Zero Trust principles by focusing on identity based access control. It ensures that access decisions are made based on user and device identity, regardless of their location within the network, thereby reducing the trust assumption. Our next interview question is: how does Cisco ISE contribute to network segmentation and microsegmentation for enhanced security? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE in conjunction with technologies like TrustSec can dynamically segment the network based on their identity and attributes. This enables microsegmentation, ensuring that users and devices only have access to resources they need for their roles. Our next interview question is: explain the concept of TrustSec and Security Group Tags (SGT) in the context of Cisco ISE. Your answer should be: TrustSec is Cisco's framework for secure network access. Security Groups Tags (SGT) are used to classify and enforce access policies dynamically based on user identity and attributes, enhancing security through granular control. If you are preparing for any Cisco based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid, tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below. Today we are discussing the CCNA based interview questions and answers for Cisco Identity Services Engine ISE. You can download the complete list of CCNA based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Identity Services Engine is: explain the role of Identity Services Engine ISE in the context of Software Defined Networking SDN. Your answer should be: Cisco ISE plays a crucial role in SDN by providing identity-based access control. It integrates with SDN controllers to dynamically adapt network policies based on the identity and attributes of users and devices. Our next interview question is: how can Cisco ISE be configured to provide secure access to IoT Internet of Things devices with varying security requirements? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE can use profiling to identify and classify IoT devices. Different security policies can then be applied based on the specific security requirements of each type of IoT devices, ensuring tailored and secure access. Absolutely, here are more Cisco Identity Services Engine ISE interview questions. Our next interview question is explain the concept of Cisco ISE external identity sources and why they are important for authentication. Your answer should be external identity sources in Cisco ISE refer to external databases or systems like Active Directory or LDAP. They are crucial for authenticating users based on their credentials stored outside the ISE system, providing a centralized and unified identity management approach. Our next interview question is how does Cisco ISE handle session termination or log off events for users or devices? Your answer should be Cisco ISE can be configured to send COA change of authorization requests to terminate user sessions. This ensures timely revocation of network access when needed, contributing to overall security. Our next interview question is what are the considerations when implementing Cisco ISE in a geographically distributed network environment? Your answer should be considerations include latency, bandwidth, and resilience. Deploying policy service nodes (PSNs) closer to the endpoints can improve performance and ensuring high availability is crucial for maintaining network access across distributed locations. Our next interview question is explain the process of integrating Cisco ISE with Cisco Umbrella for enhanced security. Your answer should be integration involves configuring Cisco ISE to communicate with Cisco Umbrella, a cloud delivered security platform. This integration allows ISE to enforce security policies based on the threat intelligence provided by Umbrella. If you are preparing for any Cisco based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid, tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below. Today we are discussing the CCNA-based interview questions and answers for Cisco Identity Services Engine ISE. You can download the complete list of CCNA-based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Identity Services Engine is how does Cisco ISE handle guest access to the network? Your answer should be Cisco ISE provides a guest services feature that allows organizations to securely provide network access to guests. It involves a web portal for guests to authenticate and receive limited access based on predefined policies. Our next interview question is can you explain the integration of Cisco ISE with mobile device management MDM solutions? Your answer should be Cisco ISE can integrate with MDM solutions to assess the compliance of mobile devices before granting access to the network. It checks the device's security posture and enforces policies based on the MDM evaluation. Our next interview question is: what is the purpose of the Cisco ISE Monitoring and Troubleshooting Node (MNT)? Your answer should be: the MNT node is responsible for collecting and storing logs and monitoring data. It provides visibility into the network, allowing administrators to troubleshoot issues, review historical data, and generate reports. Our next interview question is: explain the role of profiling in Cisco ISE. Your answer should be: profiling in Cisco ISE involves the automatic detection and classification of endpoints based on their characteristics, such as device type, operating system, or applications. Profiling helps in applying appropriate access policies. Our next interview question is: how does Cisco ISE handle posture assessment for endpoint devices? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE uses posture assessment to evaluate the security posture of endpoint devices before granting access. It checks for antivirus status, operating system patches, and other security measures to ensure compliance with security policies. Our next interview question is: what are the different deployment modes for Cisco ISE and when would you use each? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE can be deployed in standalone mode, distributed mode, or high availability mode. Standalone is suitable for small deployments, distributed for larger networks, and high availability for redundancy and fault tolerance. Our next interview question is: can you explain the integration of Cisco ISE with third-party security products or solutions? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE supports integration with various third-party products through APIs and standard protocols. This integration allows organizations to enhance security by incorporating additional threat intelligence or extending identity services. If you are preparing for any Cisco-based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid, tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below. Today we are discussing the CCNA-based interview questions and answers for Cisco Identity Services Engine ISE. You can download the complete list of CCNA-based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Identity Services Engine is: what is Cisco ISE and what is its primary purpose? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE is a security policy management and control platform that automates and enforces secure access to network resources. Its primary purpose is to provide identity-based access to network resources. Our next interview question is explain the main components of Cisco ISE. Your answer should be Cisco ISE consists of policy service nodes PSN, monitoring and troubleshooting nodes MNT, and policy administration nodes PAN. PSN enforces policies, MNT logs and monitors, and PAN manages policies and configurations. Our next interview question is what authentication methods does Cisco ISE support? Your answer should be Cisco ISE supports various authentication methods including 802.1x MAB, MAC authentication bypass, wave authentication, and guest services. Our next interview question is how does Cisco ISE integrate with Active Directory for user authentication? Your answer should be Cisco ISE can integrate with Active Directory using Lightweight Directory Access Protocol LDAP or Active Directory Agent. It queries AD for user and group information to make access decisions. Our next interview question is explain the difference between 802.1x and MAB authentication. Your answer should be 802.1x is a port-based authentication where devices must authenticate before gaining access. MAB is MAC-based authentication, allowing devices to authenticate based on their MAC address if 802.1x is not supported. Our next interview question is what is the purpose of the Cisco ISE Policy Service Node PSN? Your answer should be the PSN is responsible for enforcing network access policies. It evaluates policies and makes decisions regarding whether to permit or deny access to network resources based on their user's identity and other attributes. Our next interview question is explain the concept of policy sets in Cisco ISE. Your answer should be policy sets in Cisco ISE are collections of authentication and authorization policies. They define how identity and access policies are applied to different types of network traffic or user roles. Our next interview question is what is COA change of authorization in Cisco ISE and when is it used? Your answer should be COA is a feature that allows Cisco ISE to dynamically change the authorization of a user or device during an active session. It is used to revoke or change access privileges based on changing conditions or policies. If you are preparing for any Cisco-based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid, tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below. Today we are discussing the CCNA-based interview questions and answers for Cisco. Identity Services Engine (ISE). You can download the complete list of CCNA-based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Identity Services Engine is: what is the purpose of the Cisco ISE Policy Administration Node PAN? Your answer should be: the PAN is responsible for managing the overall configuration and policies of the Cisco ISE deployment. It acts as the central point for policy creation, modification, and distribution of Policy Service Nodes (PSNs). Our next interview question is: explain the concept of identity sources sequences in Cisco ISE. Your answer should be: identity sources sequences allow Cisco ISE to search multiple identity stores such as Active Directory (LDAP) in a specified order until a match is found. This helps in ensuring comprehensive user authentication and authorization. Our next interview question is: how does Cisco ISE handle endpoint device authentication in a BYOD bring your own device environment? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE can leverage BYOD portals to allow users to register their personal devices. During registration, the devices are profiled and policies are applied based on their characteristics, ensuring secure access to the network. Our next interview question is: what role does the Cisco ISE Policy Information Point (PIP) play in the overall architecture? Your answer should be: PIP is responsible for retrieving additional attribute information about users and devices from external databases or sources. It enhances the attributes available for policy decisions in Cisco ISE. Our next interview question is: can you explain how Cisco ISE supports device onboarding and provisioning? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE provides device onboarding capabilities to streamline the process of bringing new devices onto the network. It can dynamically provision devices with the necessary configurations and certificates for secure connectivity. Our next interview question is: what is the purpose of the Cisco ISE PX Grid Platform Exchange Grid, and how does it enhance security? Your answer should be: PX Grid is a framework that facilitates information sharing and integration between different security products. It allows Cisco ISE to share contextual information about users and devices with other security systems for more comprehensive threat detection and response. Our next interview question is: how does Cisco ISE handle network segmentation and the enforcement of policies across different segments? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE can use security group tags (SGT) to dynamically assign devices to different segments based on their identity and attributes. This enables the enforcement of specific policies for each segment, enhancing network segmentation. If you are preparing for any Cisco-based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid, tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below. Today we are discussing the CCNA-based interview questions and answers for Cisco Identity Services Engine ISE. You can download the complete list of CCNA-based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Identity Services Engine is: what are the best practices for maintaining and upgrading Cisco ISE in a production environment without causing disruptions? Your answer should be: best practices include thorough planning, creating backups, staging upgrades in a test environment, and ensuring compatibility with other network components. Performing upgrades during maintenance windows helps minimize disruptions. Our next interview question is: explain the integration of Cisco ISE with Cisco Umbrella and the benefits it provides for network security. Your answer should be: integration with Cisco Umbrella allows Cisco ISE to enforce security policies based on threat intelligence from Umbrella. This enhances protection against malicious domains and provides an additional layer of security for network access. Our next interview question is: how does Cisco ISE handle the profiling of endpoints in a network with a mix of corporate owned and personal devices? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE uses profiling policies to classify and identify endpoints based on their attributes. Policies can be tailored to differentiate between corporate owned and personal devices, allowing for distinct access controls. Our next interview question is: explain the role of Cisco ISE in handling dynamic VLAN assignments for devices connecting to the network. Your answer should be: Cisco ISE can dynamically assign VLANs to devices based on their identity and attributes. This dynamic VLAN assignment allows for flexible network segmentation and policy enforcement. Our next interview question is: what considerations should be taken into account when integrating Cisco ISE with third-party solutions or security products? Your answer should be: considerations include protocol compatibility, API support, and adherence to industry standards. Cisco ISE's flexibility is in supporting various integration methods allows for seamless collaboration with third-party security products. Our next interview question is: how can Cisco ISE contribute to the prevention of unauthorized access in a network with the implementation of COA, that is, change of authorization? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE uses COA to dynamically adapt access policies. If unauthorized access is detected, ISE can trigger COA to immediately revoke network access, preventing further unauthorized activity. Our next interview question is: explain the role of Cisco ISE in supporting the implementation of Network Access Control NAC policies. Your answer should be: Cisco ISE is a key component of Network Access Control NAC, providing the ability to authenticate, authorize, and enforce policies for devices seeking access to the network. It ensures that devices comply with security policies before gaining access. If you are preparing for any Cisco-based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid, tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below. Today we are discussing the CCNA-based interview questions and answers for Cisco Identity Services Engine ISE. You can download the complete list of CCNA-based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Identity Services Engine is: how can Cisco ISE be configured to support guest access while maintaining security standards? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE provides a guest services feature. By configuring guest portals, sponsorship, and time-limited access, organizations can offer guest access while ensuring that it aligns with security policies. Our next interview question is: explain the role of Cisco ISE in the context of software defined access (SD) access and its benefits. Your answer should be: Cisco ISE integrates with SD access to provide identity-based policies, allowing organizations to dynamically enforce security policies for users and devices. This integration enhances visibility, control, and automation within the network. Our next interview question is: how does Cisco ISE handle device profiling in a network with a diverse range of endpoint devices? Your answer should be: Cisco ISE uses device profiling to identify and classify endpoints based on their characteristics. Profiling policies are configured to match different device types, ensuring accurate identification and enforcement of access policies. Our next interview question is: explain the role of Cisco ISE in implementing TrustSec policies for secure network access. Your answer should be: Cisco ISE in conjunction with TrustSec utilizes Security Group Tags (SGT) and Security Group Access Control Lists (SGACL) for dynamic and context-aware access control. This approach enhances security by classifying and segmenting network traffic based on identity. Our next interview question is: what are the steps involved in troubleshooting authentication issues in a Cisco ISE deployment? Your answer should be troubleshooting authentication issues in Cisco ISE involves checking logs, reviewing configuration settings, verifying identity source connections, and using tools like the authentication test feature to isolate and address problems. Our next interview question is explain the role of Cisco ISE in ensuring compliance with regulatory requirements such as GDPR or HIPAA. Your answer should be Cisco ISE logs and monitors access activities, providing data that can be used for compliance audits. It allows organizations to demonstrate adherence to regulations by tracking and reporting on user access and network events. Our next interview question is how does Cisco ISE handle guest access in a secure and user friendly manner? Your answer should be Cisco ISE facilitates guest access through guest portals where guests can self register or be sponsored by an employee. Access can be time limited, and ISE ensures that guests adhere to security policies during their network uses. If you are preparing for any Cisco based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid, tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below. Today we are discussing the CCNA based interview questions and answers for Cisco Identity Services Engine ISE. You can download the complete list of CCNA based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Identity Service Engine is how can Cisco ISE be configured to provide secure access for remote users or devices connecting through virtual private networks VPNs? Your answer should be Cisco ISE can integrate with VPN solutions to extend identity based access control to remote users. This ensures that users connecting through VPNs are subject to the same access policies as on premises users. Our next interview question is explain the role of Cisco ISE in handling access requests for devices that are not capable of 802.1x authentication. Your answer should be Cisco ISE can handle such scenarios through MAB MAC authentication bypass. Devices without 802.1x capability can be authenticated based on their MAC address, providing a method for securing network access for such devices. Our next interview question is how does Cisco ISE support integration with Cisco Stealthwatch for enhanced network visibility and security analytics? Your answer should be integration with Cisco Stealthwatch allows ISE to share contextual information about users and devices. This enhances security analytics by providing comprehensive visibility into network activities and aiding in the detection of anomalous behavior. Our next interview question is explain the role of Cisco ISE in enforcing differentiated access policies based on the type of endpoint device. Your answer should be Cisco ISE leverages profiling to identify and classify endpoint devices based on their attributes. Differentiated access policies can then be applied, ensuring that each type of device adheres to the specific security and access control requirements. Our next interview question is what measures can be taken to ensure the security of communication between Cisco ISE and other network devices? Your answer should be security measures include using secure protocols such as HTTPS and LDAPS, proper certificate management, and restricting access to ISE administrative interfaces. Implementing firewalls and VPNs can further enhance the security of communication. Our next interview question is how does Cisco ISE contribute to the overall security posture of an organization in the face of evolving threats and vulnerabilities? Your answer should be Cisco ISE provides dynamic and context aware access control based on identity and device attributes. By adapting policies in response to evolving threats and vulnerabilities, ISE enhances the overall security posture of the organization. If you are preparing for any Cisco based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid, tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below.